Hello, my loves. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Dustina. This is Spiritual Boujee Astrology, and we're going to take a look at the astrological transits of November 17th to November 23rd. Now, before we get into the breakdown of this week, of course, I've got to remind everybody that we have a Mercury retrograde special going on for anyone that wants one-on-one sessions with me. All you got to do is go to the website, www.thespirituallyboujee.com. You can see that right here. Go to where it says astrological services, and I've got this nice and clean for everybody that wants to be able to do this. You can book one Mercury retrograde session, one-on-one for either a 60-minute or 90-minute. 60 minutes are $35, 90 minutes are $50. If you are one of those people that you like to book a bunch of sessions all at once, you can do a multi-package session of either 360 minutes per, which would be $35 a piece, altogether 105. If you want to do 5 60-minute sessions, it's $175 package. You can book all of those out for the next 6 months, year, whatever you're wanting to do. And of course, if you want to be able to do gift certificates, you can also do those on the website. Just remember that you got to give me time on the gift certificates to be able to put those together. That is not something that is auto-generated. That is something that I personally type and that I personally track, because it's not a control thing. It's just more along the lines of like, I like to know what's going on because my memory tends to work better sometimes than anything else. It's reliable for me. It's weird. Now, one extra thing. If you have done other purchases on my website besides the booking, I want you to listen to the exit, like the very end of this episode. So I got a quick little another Mercury retrograde message about that, just everybody to be clear, because I've had some people that have also purchased some stuff on the website. And I've got a little bit of a supplier issue thing that I'm going to just kind of explain at the end. It's not a big thing. I'm working on it. Now, now, okay. When it comes to the vibration of this week, this is the middle of the Mercury retrograde. This week, we are going to have what is called a Mercury Cazimi. That is where Mercury comes into the heart of the sun, and it reveals things. It's putting things forward. It has revisions. It makes us understand something. It's epiphany energy. It is clarity energy. It is something that has something very profound that is taking us to the root cause of many situations. Please note the word root. If you listen to my Meditative Rant video, I talked a lot about chakras and certain things that needed to be pushed into alignment, or some of our alignments that are out of place being tested. Some of the things that are in place being tested. There's a lot of vibration that speaks to alignment. And what's interesting about the Mercury Cazimi this week is we need Mercury to retrograde back into Scorpio to do so. So Mercury is going to change signs. In addition to that, the Mercury Cazimi will also include a new moon in Scorpio. Scorpio is most associated with certain sexual tendencies and sexual placements on the body, which takes us back to the root chakra, the root cause. For some people, whenever it comes to what you're going through in your healing process, we're going to get to the bottom of some things, the root of the situation, why you react in certain ways, why certain things have gone wrong, why you run from certain things. There will be certain elements that take us back to the past in so many ways, while also showcasing how we overcome, how we heal, and how we change something on a multitude of levels. The vibration this week is very much focused on the root, our roots, our past, what needs to come to light, what needs to come to the surface, what needs to get revised, what we need to see from a different perspective. What people don't necessarily take into account whenever it comes to that inner child work is we are giving ourselves the chance to go back over things that happened to us in our childhood, but now from a perspective, I cannot talk. Okay, a perspective of forgiveness. Forgiving ourselves for how we responded because we didn't know any better. There's so many times that we are our own worst enemy. We are our own worst critic. We beat ourselves up. Why didn't I say something? Why didn't I fight back? Why didn't I do something different? Why did I freeze? Why? Why did I do that? And as opposed to being just angry at that person for what they caused, for what they did, for the betrayal, for the pain, for the hurt, we get mad at ourselves and we punish ourselves for not responding differently. There's a reason they say hindsight is 2020, which sounds very different since COVID, but still, hindsight is 2020. Objectively being able to see something from a different lens gives you the ability to see it more clearly. There is a need to get to the root cause of your responses, of the issue, of the trauma. For some of you, it's literally going to have to do with your roots. So your ancestry, the things that have gone on with your family, things from your childhood. There's going to be that level of root cause that we are going to be focusing on this week. The root of situations. For some of us, it is going to be the normal, mundane Mercury retrograde drama, and the root cause is going to be a mundane situation. The reason this is not working right is because something happened way back here, way down yonder. And we have to get to the primary part of the issue to be able to revise, revamp, reframe, rethink, overcome, release, let go of. The root cause of certain issues this week is going to be different for everybody. For some of you, you're going to have to finally release this thing that we've been feeling deep inside. We're going to have to finally tell some truths. We're going to have to finally put something into perspective. We're going to have to finally release some type of knowledge or information. We're going to have to face something in a different way. There will be hard truths that get revealed. There will be necessary evils that we must undo. A lot of this Mercury retrograde, I've said it from the beginning, is a necessary restructuring. It's a necessary revamping. It's necessary. And in the most mundane way, what I mean by necessary is like if you really want to reorganize the kitchen, I've given this example before. Some of you privately, I'm pretty sure I said this on one episode. I don't remember which one now. I've talked a lot. It's a necessary revision in the sense of like, if you want this kitchen to be laid out differently, you got to pull everything out of the cabinets so you can put it back in its new order. This is the week where the cabinets get emptied. This is the week where everything that we've had hidden in the top of the cabinet, above the fridge, in the back of the pantry gets discovered. Like, whoa, what is this? I didn't even know we had this. When did we buy this? What's the expiration date? 1996. Holy crap, how old are you? We've all had that thing that we find in the fridge, in the cabinet, in our grandma's cabinet that has a random expiration date of like, one, I don't even remember buying this. Two, I didn't even know this existed. Three, how old are you? God dang, that type of stuff. Now that's super mundane, but even this concept of this weird treat, spice, noodle box, whatever that's been in the back of the cabinet, the pantry, whatever. Even that concept of coming back up of like, the real reason I can't commit is because I'm still upset about what happened in my childhood. But we have to give ourselves grace. But we also need to expect. Sorry, I really can't talk today. Expect, get perspective on what has been buried below the surface for so long. Now, whenever it comes to parts of this vibration this week, we have to go backwards to gain perspective. We have to go back. We have to go back on our word. We have to revise. We have to tell a different version of the truth. And please note how I said versions of the truth. You in certain people's situations where they're saying like, oh, I love you, you're totally, I love you, I do love you. And that's true. They have love for you. But it is one thing to say, I love you, to be like, I'm madly in love with you. These are two different perspectives, and these are two different versions of the truth. You can have love for someone, but not be in love with them. You can give forgiveness to some people, but never trust them again. We can look at things from an objective perspective of being like, that sucked so bad. And even in the epiphanies, in the clarity, in the discovery, the enlightenment, there is something so raw, fresh, pink. Sometimes when you tear open a wound again, you don't get back to like a place of bleeding, but you open up to new skin. There's something so raw about reopening the wound, of telling the truth, of putting things into perspective. There's something so raw in the way that we will see things energetically this week, experiences of this week. But they are a necessary shakeup, a necessary adjustment, a necessary change that will ride the entire wave of the week. And by the end of the week, many people are going to be in situations that we have said things, revealed things, understood things that we can't take back. There is no going back. There is no putting things back in the right place and, oh, just a little spackle on the sheetrock, it'll be fine. No, this time it will not be fine. But it's a necessary part of revising something, so that way we can finally step into something new later on. Whatever we start to get into, that nitty gritty, that thing that's been going on below the surface, all of those insecurities, all of that focus from before, whatever we get into, hone in on, focus in on, whatever we learn and understand differently, once we have it, it is going to be like a pivotal disruption. This is a pivotal new moon. This is a pivotal Mercury retrograde. And if you think about how all this is going on, and this Mercury Cazimi happening in Mars's sign, Mars is the one that I give the word pivotal to the most. This week is going to be a pivotal disruption to understanding the root cause of so many situations. The discovery will bring so much raw emotion to the surface, but it's a necessary part of healing the things that do not go with us into the new normal, tying a nice big bow of a lot of the things that I have said for quite some time. There's a need for the revisions. And there's a lot of things that does not go with us. Even our trauma does not go with us into the new normal. Okay. Now I'm about to start showing the charts, and there's one particular chart. I'm going to say this right here before I actually show the charts, and that is the Grand Trine energy that is happening late Sunday, November 16th, going into Monday, November 17th. And that is the Grand Trine between Jupiter in Cancer, the Sun in Scorpio, and Saturn in Pisces. So this is our little triangle. Water flows, emotions come through. A lot of things need to be shifted into perspective. The Grand Trine that we start the week off will also influence the Grand Trine that we will have when we end part of the week. And by the time we get to the one at the end of the week, that's where we're going to have raw energy. So I want people to be very focused on whatever's starting to come through on Sunday, knowing that is going to shift a lot of focus into, again, lines that once they are crossed, once they are revealed, once certain things come to light, there's certain things that cannot be undone. Be aware of the vibration this week. Certain things, once they are said, certain things, once they are experienced, they cannot be undone. And that's a big part of this energy. Now I'll get into the charts. Part of that was still part of Monday, and I just wanted to show this focus real quick. So I've got this right here, 12:30 a.m., Monday, November 17th. And the reason I have it here is because the sun is just starting to separate from its trine to Jupiter, but it's like, that's 6 minutes. This is 9 minutes. This is not a big separation. So we're in emotional epiphany, clarity, experience energy, late Sunday going into Monday. Between 2:40 and 3:02 a.m., I got this now at 2:30, that's going to be close enough. The sun will also hit this trine to Saturn. The sun is always in a forward motion. He is always taking things forward. He is always looking ahead. We are always putting things into perspective. But with the other two planets being retrograde, Saturn stationing to end its retrograde and will be ending its retrograde literally within the next 10 days. Jupiter, newly retrograde, has just turned retrograde over the course of this month. We are at this emotional point of understanding in our healing process of what can no longer continue, but not entirely sure of how we progress from here. Now, for some of us, this is going to have to do with the healing process based off Jupiter. For some of this is going to be those emotional root cause situations based off of the sun being in Scorpio. For some of us, it is the responsibilities that we will no longer take, the karma we will no longer be committed to live through based off of Saturn in Pisces. And the reason I specifically say that in that way is because Pisces is the 12th zodiac sign. Saturn being that ruler of karma and rules and responsibilities and these levels of boundaries. There's something about a lot of karmic clearing for a lot of people based off of this final wave of Saturn and Pisces. We need to heal the wound. We need to release something. We need to let something go. Now, do we have major other energies right here telling me that we're going through big life events at this moment? Not necessarily. And I don't know that a lot of people late Sunday going into Monday. Sure, money would be nice. But anyways, Monday, whenever it comes to this vibration, I feel like a lot more people are feeling intuitively the download levels of activation. I don't necessarily know that everybody's having big life events. If you are, it's about understanding something that needs to change in our responsibilities. There could be stuff that's going on with the elders. There could be things regarding medical stuff around elders, and that could be a big possibility. But I don't know that we're at this big understanding of, I don't know that we're having the big boom kind of things. I feel like this is softer, gentler, harder, but a softer in its energy pattern in the sense of like, again, it doesn't come with big booms. It doesn't feel like it's a fiery energy. It's very, very emotional based off of what's coming through here. And it doesn't feel like major large accidents. I guess that's what I want to say. I don't feel like explosions. That's what I want to say more than anything. Okay. So in the overnight hours from Sunday going into Monday, we have this grand trine energy going on between Saturn, Jupiter, and the sun. Very emotional energy, big things about our healing, and another one of many ways that speaks to getting to an understanding of the root cause as to why certain things can't continue anymore, but also the root cause of what we need to heal moving forward. Okay, keeping this going. What's interesting also is whenever we do have this Sun Saturn part, we have the energy of the moon hitting this opposition to Chiron. I'm looking at the fact that Chiron is also in Mars' sign. And this moon opposite Chiron can speak to some kind of awareness of like a solution, how we heal something. There can be levels of awakening awareness of wounds, of past wounds that we need to heal. But this right here happening in the middle of the night, this could be, again, more of the download energy, more of like perspective that for some people can be spoken about late Sunday evening. For other people, it might just be kind of a download of what you understand when you wake up Monday morning of a solution that something we want to take. we want to do, but the solution is an action oriented solution. It feels like we need to do something, say something, reveal something. There's actions or reaction in there, but I'm not talking again big booms, not it's not a big explosion. It's just like maybe I should go ahead and call them. Maybe we should talk. Maybe I should tell the truth. That type of like, I think I gotta do something. And again, this is setting the stage and really pushing a wave of getting to the root of something throughout the entire week. Okay, we're going to keep it going. Getting into the morning time between 7 and 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. So I got this now at 7:30. Jupiter is going to square the moon. Now remember, Jupiter is in the moon sign. This is the doctor, the guru, the teacher, things that we want to take care of, things that we want to heal, things that we want to nurture. Hitting this square to the moon, many of us can wake up Monday morning feeling some level of vibration that we do not want to take care of anymore. We're not necessarily sure like who would be responsible if we didn't take care of it, but there's some element that speaks to, I just don't want to do something the same way anymore. I don't want to hurt in the same way anymore. But that doesn't necessarily feel negative in this moment, but there can be certain mundane things of like certain people are not going to support or train or teach or offer certain guidance in the same way. And that can be a little bit more in the mundane sense coming through somewhere on Monday morning with Jupiter hitting that square to the moon. This is just not what we continue doing. This is not how we continue moving. This is not what we need to focus on. But I don't mean this in like some heavy, dramatic, end of the world kind of way. There can be some people that are hurt by what they learn, but that's a necessary part of getting to the root cause of things because that's going to be the continuous vibe that I keep feeling for this entire week. Now, as we get into the afternoon, the vibe is going to get a little bit different between 2:20 and 2:39 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I got this now at 2:30. We go through Mercury's sextile to Pluto. Now, this is the second one. And the thing about this week is everything Mercury does this week. It's the second wave of something. It's the second Mercury Pluto sextile. It will be the second trine with Saturn. It'll be the second trine with Jupiter. It'll be the second of a lot of things. So there is something about recalling something, visiting something from the past, dealing with something from the past, whether that is recent past or way down yonder, it doesn't really matter. There is something about a past energy. What's interesting about Mercury in this sextile to Pluto is Mercury being retrograde, going in the opposite direction of the direction that Pluto is going. Some people are going to have certain things hit the afternoon of Monday of like, I can't do this. I'm not able to commit to this. I've had a change of heart. And that can initiate some kind of power struggle. But there can also be things about past traumas that I don't want to talk about right now. Mercury sextile to Pluto is like, but no matter how much you don't want to talk about it, given the way the rest of the vibration is going to go throughout the week, guess what? We're going to end up talking about it. Whether you want to or not, whether you like it or not, there will be certain shocks to the system that forces us to talk about something. And considering at 3:44 p.m. Central Standard Time, bumping this now to 4:30, the moon is going to go into Scorpio. The moon is going to go into Pluto's sign. Now, once the moon goes into Scorpio, this mid part of the 17th, for the next 2.5 days, so from here to the 20th, when we actually have the new moon, we're in new moon energy. But what's also happening in this area of the sky is that the moon came in and Mercury is about to retrograde back in. And there is something about getting to the root cause. You hear me say the same things over and over again because of what we're getting to with Scorpio. There is something new, moon in Scorpio, and something old, Mercury retrograding back into Scorpio, that needs to come to light, that needs to come into focus, that needs to deal with some kind of energy, that we need to deal with some kind of frustration. We need to get to the bottom of something. We need to tear back some things. We need to get clear on some things. We need clarity. We need something over these next few days, and it will hit its highest peak of getting to the root cause by the time we get to the 20th, by the time we get to Thursday, between the Mercury Cazimi and the new moon. oh, we need to get real clear on some things real quick, because if we do not get to the real root of the cause, we will not be able to progress forward in the ways that we are supposed to. It is going to get very emotionally interesting, and do not be surprised by how raw the energy gets throughout this week based off of this part right here. So let's keep going. It's going to get fun. Okay. The moon, as soon as it goes into Scorpio, it is going to hit a square to Pluto. So whenever that happens, it's going to be closer to the evening time between 6 and 8 p.m. So I've got this now at 6:30. Here's the moon, 1 degree, 22 minutes. Here's Pluto at 1 degree, 39. It goes exact closer to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. But no matter what, I always give that 2-hour window of like, we're going to feel something here. There can be a questioning, moon square Pluto, of the wound, of the trauma, of the past, of what has changed, of what has transformed, of the abuse, of the trauma, of the power struggle. Considering as soon as the moon goes into Scorpio, it hits the square to Pluto, the other ruler of Scorpio. We've got a big focus on some of the Mars stuff based off of what's been going on, but we haven't had a whole lot of focus yet on Pluto. But here's a little bump with Pluto of something that we need to change, something that we need to overcome, something that we need to be focused on differently. And for some people, whenever the moon hits the square to Pluto, it's going to be nerve-wracking. For other people, when the moon hits the square to Pluto, it is going to be openings of something that we need to transform, of how we have transformed, of how we are no longer allowing certain traumas to impact us. For other people, it is going to be the awareness of something else has backed out, given the Mercury Pluto sextile is still very active. It's like, oh, well, so and so was supposed to help. So and so was supposed to be here. This is a little bit more of a mundane situation. So I need someone else to help me fix this. I need somebody else to help me get this handled, get this figured out, get this worked on. And the moon hitting the square to Pluto can be something more in that mundane sense of like, I can help. I can understand it. I can look at it. Give it to me. Send it to me. Share it with me. Whatever needs to work in this regard. For some people, this can be heavy. For other people, not so much. It really just kind of depends on how that human effect is helping you or working with you. And I will admit the afternoon's transits with Mercury, Moon, and Pluto does not quite feel the same as the overnight hours of Sunday into Monday with the grand trine of Saturn, Jupiter, and the Sun. But that doesn't mean that it can't be connected all the same. For some people, it won't be. For some people, it's an extra layer on top of everything else that we're starting to deal with. It's starting to come to light. Okay, we're going to keep this going. We're now going to get into the 18th. It is Tuesday. The moon is going to be in Scorpio all day long. And the thing about Tuesday is most of the day, and I mean most of the 24-hour span, there's not a whole lot going on with the transits. There's really not. Now, the moon's going to be in Scorpio all day long. There's going to be certain things that we're starting to feel a restlessness going on of like, I want to do something, but I don't want to do something. I feel like I need to do something. I feel like I need to go back somewhere. But some of us are not necessarily going to have one particular element in that going back. It's just like a feeling of something. You might not be having actual conversations about it. It's a restless, weird, blurring pipeline type of energy. And we don't actually get into any kind of transit until the evening time. So I'm going to get this now to 9:30 because it's going to encompass both of our transits simultaneously. At 9:20 p.m., so 10 minutes before where we're at, Mercury is going to retrograde back into Scorpio. He's going back. Simultaneously, the moon is going to hit a conjunction to Venus. Now, this is going to happen between 9:30 and 11:30 p.m. So again, we're not going to have any real transits until the evening time. And for some people, there's going to be like this vibration throughout the day of like, this cannot continue. Mercury at 0 degrees of Sagittarius. I don't have this. I don't know what to do with this. This can't continue. I don't know what I don't know. I can't figure something out. But there's something about Mercury going back into Scorpio that forces us to go relook, revise, redo something, deal with something from the past, whether it's a mundane situation or whether it is something more in that spiritual, I need to heal the root cause situation. It's going to look different for everybody. Now, the moon hitting this conjunction to Venus, hidden desires. Some of us, the only way that we can heal parts of what we desire, where we're at, the appreciation of something, is to go back. And there is some kind of permission, Moon conjunct Venus. There is some type of support, Moon conjunct Venus. There is some type of vibration that speaks to the appearance of something, but also recognizing the darkness in certain levels of beauty, the beauty in healing. There's something about whenever the moon hits the conjunction to Venus, for a lot of people, there's a necessary support that can kind of come through that instigates a bit of emotion that's going to come through and hit some people very, very unexpectedly. For some people, the unexpected vibration can be a part of the 18th. For a lot more people, it's going to be a part of the 19th. And as I get into those transits, that will make a lot more sense. But when the moon hits this conjunction to Venus, there's kind of a support in it. There's an appreciation in it, even if it's something dark. Now, what I don't like about this is if someone is on their own, some of the darkness might take us back to certain things, or we might relive physical situations that make us go back and face a prior energy. But I mean that I hate saying this next part. For some people, this is going to be a threatening level of energy, but it's like in the threat, it is what takes off the wound. It's what reopens the wound. It's what shows us the skin underneath. It's what shows us what's been going on underneath. And for some people, like it's ripping off a bandage, it's ripping off a scab, it's ripping something off when the moon hits the conjunction to Venus. But I cannot express how necessary getting into darker energy this week. It's going to be very necessary to get through the healing process. Mercury has retrograded back into Scorpio right as the moon hits its conjunction to Venus. This is going to be the latter part of the evening, specifically between the 9 o'clock hour and midnight. As we get into the 19th, of course, the moon is going to be in Scorpio all day long. We're still in new moon vibration, but we haven't actually hit the new moon yet. And as we go through the morning times, keeping this going, we're going to get through this very interesting energy where between the 5 o'clock a.m. to 7 a.m. So I'm giving a big window here, this 2-hour window of Mercury, hitting this opposition to Uranus. Now, Uranus, the Mercury-Uranus opposition, this is not the first time they have done this, but this is the first time they've done it in this particular sign. Remember before when Mercury entered Sagittarius, it hit that opposition to Uranus before Uranus retrograded back into Taurus, before Uranus went back in for some unfinished business. And now Mercury has come back around. This is where we get some kind of news, unexpected news about someone coming back around, something coming back around, something coming back up. And for some people, this could be a creative energy. For other people, the unexpected hit in that energy, I'm thinking of Uranus when I'm saying the unexpected part. It's going to be a shift in opinion, a shift in information that we might not know immediately if we believe it or not. Why do I say that? Because in this same 2-hour span, while Mercury's hitting this opposition to Uranus, it is also going through its trine with Neptune. Neptune can be inspiration. Neptune can be spiritual. Neptune can bring a lot of woo-woo things up. It can have to do with the effects. It can have to do with the healing. It can have to do with the medication, but it can also be the lies, the fraud, the deception. The effects of this can have to do with vices just as much as it can have to do with other things that blind our senses. Think of the stuff that we consume to blur reality, whether that is a drink, whether that is a smoky smoke, whatever it is. There's other things that you can do too that are a lot more illegal. And I'm trying not to say those things for the YouTube, Spotify gods. But whatever comes through this in this energy is not expected. And it is a shock to the system. And it is not something that is new. For a lot of people, it is going to be something very, very old, something that we did before. Based off of the placements of Uranus and Neptune, this can go back to springtime. And some of the things that we did back then, especially if we did impetuous, impulsive things back then. Some of us are going to finally reveal certain unexpected truths, whether it's specific to this date or as the next 48 hours continues. And you'll see why I'm saying that as we continue. It's still feeding into the vibration of the truth, the information that needs to come through. Some people will be blindsided by it, but it is a necessary truth that needs to be understood, that needs to be revealed. We're getting to root causes this week. This energy of Uranus opposite Mercury and Neptune's trine to Mercury, it is the most exact in the morning time. Again, between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m., I'm giving big windows, but really, we're in it the night before. That's why I kind of said we might have some unexpected things the night before once Mercury goes into Scorpio. For other people, it's going to be on Wednesday. The unexpected things not going to plan, things that we don't see clearly, things that are super confusing. And no matter what time of day it hits, we're in the vibration all day long. So I'm not just expecting it to hit first thing in the morning. I'm not. I expect it at any points, anywhere between Tuesday evening all through the day on Wednesday, just because these are big outer planets that will continue to feed into the energy as things unfold over the next few days. And whatever is coming through for a lot of us, you didn't see it coming. For some of us, we know we're about to do something and we just don't know how it's going to go. And their response is what you don't see coming, but it's all very necessary. Okay, we're going to keep this going. We're going to get into the evening time. And between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m., we get our next few transits. So I'm going to put this at 6:30. This is going to encompass both. One, Jupiter is going to go through its trine with the moon. We're just past the exactness right here. So you can see this right here. Jupiter's at 25 degrees, 2 minutes. Here's the moon, 25:5. The moon will also simultaneously go through its trine to Saturn. This is more exact between 6 and 8 p.m. That's why I put it at 6:30, because we're in it. But remember, the sun was just here over the course of Sunday and Monday. But the moon coming through brings a different level of emotion. It brings a different level of truth. It brings a different level of energy. And we're getting closer to this new moon. So whatever epiphanies, whatever downloads, whatever clarity, whatever lessons, whatever perspective has come through in the last few days is feeding into a new idea, a new concept, a new truth, because we're getting closer to a new moon. It doesn't perfect on the 19th. It happens just after midnight on the 20th. I want to be clear about that, but it is still very much a part of this vibration. Remember, Uranus is still, Mercury, wrong one. Mercury is still in this opposition to Uranus. It's still in this trine to Neptune. We've still been in this unexpected energy coming through all day long. And it feels like the waves of both, the downloads, the knowledge, the experience that we have had over the course of the weekend going into this week, as well as the unexpected vibration of things coming back with Mercury retrograding back into Scorpio, that both sides are necessary to shape this new form, to shape this new energy, to shape some things. For some people, the energetic shaping is coming through the evening of the 19th. For other people, it will be the most exact when the new moon goes exact, and that's going to be on the 20th. So we're going to keep this going. Oh, this is an emotional outlet type of energy. There's a revealing energy. And as we get into the evening time, what I'm saying next is going to really encompass the next 24 hours. This is going to start at 11:14 p.m. And that is whenever Uranus and Neptune hit their second trine. This is their second one. The last one that happened actually happened over the summer. The next one that will occur will happen later next summer. So I'm not getting too stuck on the dates, because these two, I think, are fueling the environment for this energy that's happening down here. They are fueling the nostalgic Pleasantville, what it takes to get from grayscale to color. Some of us are starting to finally learn the little things that are tricking us into going into color, going back to the Pleasantville forecast energy that I started talking about back in October. And for those that don't remember that, I mean, it's been about a month now, but there was something very much about that energy that I said that feeds into what we're going to be dealing with for the next 6 weeks. We're right in the middle of that. And for some of us, this is like that lightning strike that creates colored flames that no one knows what to do with. This is the punch against the bully's face that turns the black and white boy into a colored boy. And I mean that in the sense of like grayscale to high definition when I'm saying it that way. This is those lightning strike, hard hit kinds of moments. But Neptune and Uranus, this starts late November 19th. And for basically the next 24 hours, because it's going to continue all day through the 20th, we're in this interesting wave of the unexpected, the unclear, the nostalgic, the excitement, the unexpected, the unplanned, the blending of realities. There's something so intense here. But I feel like, again, it's the coloring of the environment for what is going on this area of the sky. We're not at anything exact at this moment on the 19th. So let's go ahead and bump this into the 20th. Let's get into some of that more exactness. Because again, that Neptune Uranus, we are in it all day. All day, all day, all day. It actually doesn't stop until 6:21 p.m. So we're just going to go all day. Okay. It's a very interesting 24 hours. And I promise you, you do not know what's coming. At 12:46 a.m., I got it now at 12:30. This is when we get our new moon in Scorpio. But if you notice, this is a new moon conjunct Mercury. Mercury is retrograde. We are going back over something. We have something from the past and something new coming through simultaneously. For a lot of people, it's going to be exciting with the Uranus part. For other people, it is going to be the unexpected and earth-shattering, mind-boggling because of the Uranus part. For other people, we are not seeing things clearly. It is like trying to put together our rose-colored glasses all over again. For some of us, it is breaking the rose-colored glasses. For some of us, it's like having one lens available to see and one lens completely closed out of like the vision. It's like seeing multiple realities at once. I've already caught a glimpse of this based off some stuff that just happened over the last week. It's intense. It's real. But it's so intangible at the same time. I don't know how better ways to describe it. I'm kind of excited for it, but I know a lot of people are like, I hate this idea. I don't like the unexpected. I understand that, but there is literally no way to get around it this week. Congratulations. Yay. We got a lot of shifts in our perspective. Here's our new moon, a new moon in Scorpio, a new moon in Mars's sign and Pluto's sign. For a lot of people, this will impact the masses. It will impact in society. It will have big waves of how it's hitting people in the world. And our ways of seeing that connection are much, much larger than it used to be. It will have ways of manifesting in the big picture and small sense. And of course, I will do a new moon video later this week and breaking this down by sign. Okay. Just after the new moon, we're going to get our Mercury Cazimi. That's not that far off. The moon will also hit the conjunction to Mercury after it goes through its conjunction with the sun. So it's still in that new moon energy. We get the conjunction to Mercury. So it's a new energy, but also a revision. It's also a clarity as we get to about 2:30 to 4:30 a.m. I got it now at 3:30. The moon will hit this trine to Neptune, and simultaneously it hits this opposition to Uranus. While this is going on, notice at 3:30, we are also going through our Mercury Cazimi. The overnight hours of the 19th going into the 20th, for some of us, we are not asleep. We cannot sleep. We are feeling this energy. We are feeling the floods of emotion. We are feeling the rawness. We're having the waves of tears, the waves of anxiety, the waves of frustration. For other people, it's like a shattering of a shell of ourselves so something new can come through. The levels that this will hit in people's psyche is unfreaking real. And I love it. I'm so ready. You guys are going to hate me. And I'm 100% expecting the DMs after this happens. And you'll be like, I do not like this. I know. But I love it. My Plutonian self, I love it. Let's break it all off. Let's do it. Let's get to the root of the cause, baby. So that way we can do something different in the future. Let's get to the root. All right. Y'all can cuss me out. I will completely accept it. And I will laugh probably quite a bit As we continue through the morning time at 4:26 a.m., I got this now at 4:30. The moon goes into Sagittarius. And as soon as the moon goes into Sagittarius, this is a mutable sign. That new moon, Mercury Cazimi, it's loosely in that trine to Jupiter and Saturn. It's loosely in that trine to Neptune. It's in that opposition to Uranus. And then the moon goes into Jupiter's sign. Whatever comes through, whatever has been impacting us, whatever we need to change, some parts of us emotionally, moon goes into Sagittarius, immediately wants to transition. I don't want to feel this way anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't like the way this is going. And we really go into the actual day of the 20th wanting to make a difference, wanting to do something different, wanting to heal, wanting to transition, wanting to not feel that again. And once the moon goes into Sagittarius, it's an action, but it's not like manic, hyper low to hyper high. Some of y'all, it might be, I'm sorry if it is, but it's not quite like that. It's more along the lines of like, after you've been hurt and somebody has the nerve to come make you laugh and it lightens everything. For some of us, it's going to be exactly that. I'm suddenly remembering my best friend. In high school, he got into a really bad accident. He literally fell out of the back of a truck and he ripped off part of his face. I know that's really gory. That's super bad. I go to the hospital. I'm super upset. Oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay? What does he do? He looks at me and goes, "It's okay, Dusty. Chicks dig scars. You want to beat you now." It's like that. As soon as the moon goes into Sagittarius, somebody says something funny. Something else kind of hits. And it's like, "Oh, don't make me laugh. That hurts. Oh, don't do that. Oh, yeah. Chicks dig scars." Moving along. The moon is now in Sagittarius. As soon as the moon goes into Sagittarius, between 7 and 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, the moon goes through a sextile to Pluto. Again, this is a new moon in Pluto's sign that we just went through in the overnight hours. We are still in this Mercury Cazimi. We are still in this revelation. We are still bringing things to light. We are still learning certain truths. We are still bringing certain things into focus. But when the moon goes into this sextile to Pluto, I think I know how to overcome, how to heal, how we overstep the trauma. I understand my trauma now. I understand your trauma in a different way. I have a fresh perspective. Hindsight is 2020. And by reliving something, now we need to go to someone else that understands the trauma of like, "Do you know what happened to me in my dream last night?" Yes, I do. I don't know, but I understand where you're coming from. So let's talk about it. Let's work through it. Let's find a solution. How do we heal? The actions that we take. How do we transition? How do I make you laugh? For some of you, I'm going to be doing the shit this week to make you laugh. And the moon is going to be in Sagittarius all day long. But we're still in this Mercury Cazimi. We still have this trine with Neptune. We still have this opposition to Uranus going on. We're still in a continuous level of vibration, but sometimes you need people to make you laugh. Sometimes you need people to say stupid stuff. And that is a big part of the rest of the day. What is it going to take to make you feel better? What does it take to get over the wound? Is the wound still there? Absolutely. Did my friend's face still come off? Absolutely. And they didn't necessarily know how to put it back together. So that was interesting. But we still found a way to laugh. And some of us are going to need that mix of like, this hurts so much, but I need to laugh. I need to heal. I need the outside perspective. I need things to be different. I need something different. I need something hopeful. The moon in Sagittarius. And now we're getting into the 21st. Now we're getting into Friday. In the early morning hours between 4 and 6:30 a.m., it's got this now at 4:30, the moon is going to hit a conjunction to Mars. For some of us, we are willing to do things the day before to do something different, to get a laugh out of us. For some of us, it's going to be on Friday. We're not going to be able to do it because the new moon energy is so intense on the 20th. And the moon hits this conjunction to Mars. And this is the other ruler of that new moon, of where we just had that Mercury Cazimi. And some of us need to have a meeting about the action. Some of us need to talk about the actions we want to take. the reactions that we have had, the reaction that we are in the middle of, what we need to transition into, where I need to focus. For some of you, if you just came clean with somebody about how you're really feeling about something, now it's committing to the action afterwards. There is no going back. We cannot undo what we have already done. Some of us, it's a very, very necessary. And once we got to the root cause of this week, now it's going to be the transitional action that needs to be focused on. And that seems to come through on Friday. Now, between 4 and 6 a.m., the moon is hitting this conjunction to Mars. Simultaneously, between 6:08 and 6:31, so I'm going to bump this down to 6:30, the sun will hit its full opposition to Uranus. This will be the last time the moon will hit the opposition to Uranus while Uranus is in Taurus. It will be. This will be the last time that the moon goes through a trine to Neptune, because that's happening simultaneously, by the way, while Neptune is in Pisces. We are closing things out. We're finally admitting to things that we no longer want to do. And sometimes the admission is shocking. The things that come to light is shocking. It is unexpected. For other people, this is going to be technological these few days. I'm just now thinking of that. Some of this is going to be technological, of like, this is the only solution and you got to upgrade your phone. You got to get a different computer. You got to do some stuff on the back end that you don't know how to do. That sounds like me, by the way. I think I got some of the mundane stuff. But again, I'm going to explain part of that in the very end of the closing. There can be other things that need to be seen differently that is shocking. Sun opposite Uranus. For other people, it's going to be technological, Sun opposite Uranus. And with the Neptune energy, we are either very, very inspired or we are super freaking confused and trying to navigate through something that we do not know how to do. We do not know how to see clearly. Some of us, we are trying to navigate how we do something for the last time, and we're not sure what happens next. It's that cliche moment. How do I go back? How do I move forward from here? Where do I go from here? I don't know. It's very Six of Swords. Doesn't matter where I land next. Whatever I go into next has got to be better than what I'm leaving behind. I don't even care where I land. I don't even care where we're going, but it's got to be better than what I'm leaving behind. Let's keep it going. The sun, of course, hitting this opposition to Uranus. It hits the trine to Neptune. This is going to be the most intense, basically between 5 a.m. and 8 a.m. I'm giving a larger window here. All day, we're wrapping up the sun in Scorpio. So for some of us, we are literally feeling ourselves wanting to do something for the last time. We're wanting to wrap some things up. We are wanting to move away for some things. There's a lot of last time separation energy that is really being felt through the weekend, starting on the 21st. And you can see that here. As we get into the evening time, specifically at 7:36 p.m., I got this now at 8:30, the sun has now moved into Sagittarius. So within 24 hours of the new moon, the moon and the sun, well, not more than 24 hours, 36 hours, we're going with 36. The sun and the moon have now moved into Sagittarius. We are now ready to transition into something else. We are now putting more planets into Jupiter's sign. What we need to expand, what we need to learn, where we need to heal, where we need to grow, where we will be having change, where we need to nurture. And this is not all new energy. For some people, this is layers to stuff that goes back to earlier this year at minimum. For some people, it can go back even further because, again, root causes. Creating changes in our mindset and what we do that we will never be able to come back from. For so many people, it's a this is it kind of vibration. We're going to keep this going. We're getting into the 22nd. Now, in the morning time of the 22nd, between 6 and 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, so I got this now at 6:30, the moon is going to go through a square to Saturn. It's time to change something. Who's going to be responsible for what? I will no longer be responsible for this. I'm no longer in charge of this. You're no longer in charge of that. We're transitioning a level of change. Changes in responsibility, changes in our ideas, things that we need to heal, the actions that we must take in this healing process, in this process and moment of separation. Because for a lot of people, there's a lot of things around separation. The moon is hitting this square to Saturn. Simultaneously, as we go through the day, though, Mercury starts to go where the sun was at the very start of this week. Mercury is going to go through its trine to Saturn and its trine to Jupiter. This is all going to happen on Saturday. So we're going to keep this going. The moon hits the square to Saturn. As we get into the afternoon, roughly around lunchtime, this is going to be our exact, got it out at 12:30, between 12:26 and 12:44. So here's Saturn 25:11. Here's Mercury 25:11. But what is interesting about this triple retrograde energy, Mercury's retrograde, Saturn's retrograde, and Jupiter's retrograde. Nobody wants to commit. Nobody wants to do. Nobody wants to continue. A lot of things are not going to plan. And the emotional energy, nobody wants to take accountability. Nobody wants to accept the truth. Nobody wants to believe, but it's exactly what we need to focus on. It's exactly what needs to happen. And for a lot of people, whatever got revealed through this week, we are making a change with the Mercury retrograde. We are making a change that, again, we cannot come back from. We are saying something we cannot come back from. We are deciding on something we cannot come back from. For a lot of people, the decision is a transitional decision of, I'll move out next week. I'll move out next month. I'll move out at the end of the year. I'm not going to stay here much longer. I'm going to leave this job. I'm going to go in a different direction. I'm going to find someplace else to go where I don't know where, but wherever I'm going next has got to be better than what I'm leaving behind. I don't know where. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'll figure it out. The emotional vibration of this week is, I don't know how, but I'll figure it out. Between 3 and 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, got this now at 4:30, the moon in Sagittarius is going to go through its square to Neptune. Again, elements of confusion, something that needs to be done differently, acceptance of something is being done for the last time, acceptance that the mood and the responsibility shifted that is coming, because right after the moon goes through its square to Neptune at 4:53 p.m., so I'm bumping this now to 5:30, the moon is going to go into Capricorn. The moon is going into Saturn's sign. And again, we got that grand trine energy of Mercury to Saturn to Jupiter. There's this emotional undoing. There's an undoing in this vibration. But once the moon goes into Capricorn, it is time. This is the responsible thing. It is going to be kind of solemn for some people, like, oh, this is going to be so much harder now that everything has come out. Again, we can't go back on the things that we've said. We've said exactly what we needed to say. And now in some way, the responsible thing to do is what it's timely to do. If that means packing your bags, if that means telling somebody that we're not going to be together, for if it's starting to do the productive thing of like, I've come clean and I said I'll move out soon, but now I got to go look for an apartment. Now I got to talk to my parents and see if I can't go stay with them, talk to my brother, talk to someone. It's like I have to do the responsible thing. And the responsible energy of what we need to do to heal is what encompasses the rest of the weekend once the moon goes into Capricorn. There's something about the productiveness in our healing process that nobody thought we would be doing, but in so many ways, it's time to do now that the moon is in Capricorn. It's weighted, but relieving. It's hard, but necessary. I have been in these situations so many times myself, but tuning into this so much is like, once we get to the root cause, we can finally heal the wound that we could never heal before, that we didn't have the right tools to heal before. And whenever the moon hits its entry into Capricorn, it's still loosely in that square to Neptune. So again, it still screams like Six of Swords energy, but we're going down river, we're floating, we're moving, we're doing the thing. Now, what's also happening whenever the moon goes into Capricorn, this is whenever we go through the exact trine between Mercury and Jupiter. You can see this here, 24 degrees, 56 minutes. Here's Jupiter, 24:56. This is just one extra layer and one extra element, and the arrival of, again, that responsible energy. Some of us, this is whenever we're telling our parents that something has got to change. This is where we're telling someone else, again, I need help. This is what's going on. Like the extra layers to the weightedness and the responsibility just kind of find its way seamlessly coming out one after another after another. We're going to keep this going. We're going to get into the 23rd. And there's only one transit to the 23rd. And it's going to happen in the afternoon, right after lunch, between 1:09 and 1:32 p.m. Central Standard Time. Ooh, I went past it. Here's 1:30. The sun in Sagittarius is hitting a sextile to Pluto. This is the changes we must make. This is the transition for a long-term dynamic. This is the necessary transition to finally overcome a power struggle. This is the change that is unfolding. That is a long time coming. This is what they said. This is what they did. This is how they hurt me. I don't want to be hurting anymore. This is what I want to do next. This is what I'm scared of. This is the only transit to Sunday. Whenever it comes to Sunday, the moon will be in Capricorn all day long. The only transit is whenever the sun in Jupiter's sign, in this mutable, changeable sign, is talking about a long-term dynamic, the sextile to Pluto. For some people, it is the wound, it is the trauma, it is the abuse. For other people, it is the healing, it is the transformation, it is the cracking out of a cocoon. It is talking about how raw we feel, how incapable we feel, how different we feel. There is a numbness. It feels like crying, but you don't have any tears coming out. I feel like there will be tears throughout the week, but whenever we get to this part, there's certain times that we get into conversations and I don't have the tears for this anymore. I don't want to cry about this person anymore. And I'm going to say to you something that I've said to many, many people over the last few weeks as we've gone through this energy. And that is, sometimes you're not crying about the person that you're leaving behind, but you're crying about what you thought you had built for yourself. Anytime you're in a relationship, it doesn't matter if it's an actual romantic relationship, if it is a parent-child dynamic, if it is in a business, we outgrow certain energies. People come into our life for a reason or a season. And by the time we get through a lot of this Mercury retrograde, we're going to realize the reason has been fulfilled. The season is over. And we're not meant to continue. This is the week that I feel like a lot of people become aware of what will not continue. And that's going to be hard truths and hard realities. And it's going to be sad. But sometimes we're not sad because the breakup happened or because we've put so much into that other person or how they've treated us. Sometimes we're sad about what we've done to ourselves, what we have allowed to happen. And again, sometimes we have to get to the root cause. Well, why did you let that go on? Many people, the way that they treat relationships are the things that they saw growing up. It's what they were taught. They don't know any better. And sometimes by the time we get through certain energies, we need to talk about why we allowed certain things to happen the way that they did. And there's going to be a lot of conversations this week about the trauma, about the pain, about the things that cannot continue. And some of the things that you will mourn will be the loss of yourself, the loss of what you thought you were, what you thought you had become, what you thought you built for yourself. And losing that, the idea of that, is the hard thing to accept. This is not going to be an emotionally easy week for a lot of people, but my God, is it necessary? And when we get over the wound, when we get over the trauma, when we get over the abuse, and we get over the fears, and we get over everything that has held us back, we're going to start to recognize, this is not really going to hit until December, but we will start to recognize and see what we can do different, where we can land different, what we can transition into instead, where we can call home. This is not a month of bringing people together unless we're finally coming together over understanding that both of us were wrong. But even then, it's still in temporary energy. So we're not going to dwell on this wound forever. But I've had that happen before where people become friends because both of them were wronged by the same person. We have family members reunite because we can finally get the perspective of dad was a shithead, mom was a shithead, whatever it was. There's something about bringing things to light. And whenever it comes to the rawness of this week, getting to the root of certain things this week, once we get to the end of the week, there will be certain things that cannot be undone. Now, a lot of people will have the mundane things. And even then, there's going to be certain things that cannot be undone. You can't fix it. We can't continue. This isn't going to work. We're going to have to find a different purpose. We have to find a different place to work. We got to find something else. We got to find and go look. But we're not going to find the solution this week. It's just coming to the conclusion, yeah, this can't work. This isn't going to work. This can't continue. And that's a big possibility. But don't try to find the quick committed solution immediately because we're still going to be in another week of both Mercury and Saturn being retrograde. So we're not going to completely find solutions. And I want people to be very, very clear about that. Now, after this week, things will get a little bit lighter. We will find some levels of solutions, but I also feel like people are going to be doing their first little steps in something new while still feeling raw. And that's why I'm saying the last 2 weeks of the Mercury retrograde are a lot more intense than the first one, but the first one was exhausting. The first week of the Mercury retrograde brought a lot of things to the surface. It brought a lot of issues. It brought some things up. And there's so much of what we saw that cannot continue. And we have to go back and we have to revise and we have to rethink. We have to reshape and we got to redo and we got to relist and we got to revitalize and we got to do something different. Necessary, messy to be able to commit to the new next year. Some of you got to crack some eggs. Some of y'all gonna be the cracked egg. Just be aware of that. But that doesn't mean we can't be delicious at the same time. Eggs are great. They're a magical food. They can be so many different things. Just remember that. We can be so many different things. What we end up being later can be better than what we left behind. Please remember that. Please understand that. And I know for a lot of people, this week is going to be hard. For some of you, you're going to be like me, and you're going to be the support person and a lot of other people's stuff. Very tuned into Jupiter right now. But then once we get through that, it is the lessons, it is the stories, it is the transition, it is the voicing, it is in the steps that we heal, help others heal, where we also get our own levels of gratification. And it's like it's solidifying that we did learn our lessons. For many of you, if you did what I said before, and I said, do the opposite, this is what's going to help you. If you did the opposite, then you're in a very different place right now. And you're much more accepting of what you had to change and let go of to get to the root cause. Or you are finally in a place of being in a higher octave of intuitively helping others in their choices, in their direction, as we go through the vibration of this month, but most intensely this week. And for a lot of people, this is going to be a very life-changing week. An emotionally renewing, but deep-seated, raw breaking into. Because again, we got to get to the root cause. of so much so we can finally heal and accept where we go next in the new that comes later. And by God, we want new stuff. It's time for new stuff. I'm tired of the old drama. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm kidding. I'm trying to make it laughy. I'm trying to make it jokey. I'm going to remind everybody every once in a while, Chick Stick Scars. I can't wait to send him this link and be like, you got to listen to this week's episode. I know he doesn't listen. This is not his thing, but he's going to crack up whenever he hears that this story got told. Anyways, okay, the very, very end, what I said I was going to cover. I had a couple people this week. You started doing your Christmas shopping and you actually ordered like product off of my website. And I woke up one morning this week. I don't remember what day was it, Thursday, Friday, something like that. And I saw orders that didn't have sessions booked. Just like, oh, okay, of course, somebody ordered stuff. And I go look to see what all it is because it's just me. But I have a supplier thing that I worked out. And what I noticed is that the supplier was not correct. If you book a reading with me, I'm the supplier. So it's immediately like it goes into my calendar, it hooks to my Zoom. I'm the supplier. We're going to talk. We're going to do our thing. If you've had a session, you know exactly what I'm talking about. However, some people ordered some products this week and I caught it on Friday whenever I was just kind of going through my stuff because I'm that weirdo. And I put a lot of things to memory. I Gemini Mercury. Oh, this thing is strong. So whenever I was going through my stuff, I was like, something's not right. Something's not right. And one of the suppliers that had been on the backside of my website wasn't linked to it anymore. So what I did on Friday is I did a bunch of manual orders through the supplier. They're very hinky. Something is not quite right. And I'm admitting that right now, but I'm in the process of doing it. If I get through parts of this week with all the other drama going on, if my mundane issue is I don't think it's going to get serviced correctly, what I will do is I will refund people's orders, whether it doesn't matter the product that it's on. This is all related to products, not readings. If it's readings, you are fine. You are fine. I am the supplier. Everything is working exactly as it should be. It is the product. Like if you were trying to order tarot cards, if you try to order a tapestry, I had some people do like the little sun catcher things because there's a really cute one with a witch on it. A witch riding the moon. It's very cute. If you try to order stuff like this, that's the issue. And I'm working on it. But it's the weekend and not everybody was active to be able to get it all worked on. So I'm working on it again on Monday and Tuesday. If it does not get corrected the way that it's supposed to, I will be refunding orders. And then I'll be on the backside trying to find different supplier, taking product off, blah, 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 blah. So there's a part of my mundane Mercury retrograde stuff. Super fun, super fun. I'm letting you know there is a product issue, not a reading issue. So you can still book your readings all that you want to. Okay. Mwah. I love and appreciate every single one of you. I know a lot of you are not going to be happy with me whenever you start to hear this one, but as this week unfolds, it's going to make a lot more sense. Some of you guys are already feeling it. And once you hear this, it's going to confirm like, oh, that's what's going on. We're getting to the root cause of a lot of things. Okay. I love and appreciate every single one of you. Have a wonderful week. I love you all. Talk soon. Subscribe.